I think is like I don't know if it's the new thing, but it's definitely a popular thing right now.
Yeah.
Right. To get more video out there.
Yeah.
But it's definitely super time intensive in comparison.
Now we talked a little bit about the ad platforms. So 5, 6, 7 years ago, the ability to get your content on Facebook out there organically to a lot of people was easy. It just kind of happened.
Easy.
If people liked it and shared it, you'd reach a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And as happens with any platform that starts off that way, as soon as they introduce some sort of monetization ad platform, they no longer want to share your shit for free.
No.
They want you to pay to play a little bit.
Yes.
You can still share your stuff for free. They're just not going to show it to everybody for free anymore. And so now it's pretty tough to get beyond who's already following you. It's pretty tough to get additional people looking unless you're willing to pay. Mm-hmm. And the price to pay now is way more than it used to be.
Way more than it used to be, but it's still not terrible.
It's still
it's
worth
affordable.
looking at. But I mean, 5 years ago, $50 went a long way.
Yes.
And now $50 doesn't go very far.
No.
So it's just gotten more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It still makes sense. It's still cheaper than radio.
Yeah. It's still cheap. Well, anything's cheaper than radio.
So the ad platform, but like you said, the targeting is very good on it, and retargeting. And this is something that I need to understand more for us personally, but I know that the depth of targeting on there is probably unmatched with a lot of these other platforms.
It's got access to all that data, right? Yeah. That's just available to it. And in terms of like geographic targeting, you can target, if you can nail down who your customer is, you can get your ad in front of them tomorrow. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. If you can dodge a wrench.
You can dodge a wrench. You can dodge a ball.
So that's kind of Facebook in a nutshell. Be there. Like, I think you should have a Facebook page. That's just a given. Yeah. I know some contractors that don't, like I said, don't have a website, but they have a domain, and it just goes to their Facebook page, just forwards to their Facebook page.
Yeah, why not?
That can work.
Yeah.
It's an entire platform that can feed all the information that you would want to put on your website anyway.
Right. So. Exactly. And you don't have to pay anybody to design your website.
Right. Exactly.
And upkeep it.
Usability is simple.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram started out as a photographer's dream app. It was a place to post your photos.
Yep.
And that's all it really used to be.
It's not anymore.
It's still very driven by visuals and photos, but now they're adding in, like they're pushing video a lot right now, both short and long format, short format through Reels, long format through IGTV. Mm-hmm. So they're really trying to adapt to be more than just picture sharing.
Yep.
And so and Facebook is too, by the way. We should mention Facebook video is now a massive platform for sharing long form video.
Yeah.
And their Facebook stories are obviously a knockoff of Instagram stories, which were a knockoff of Snapchat stories. And
right, exactly. And
everybody's got stories now.
Yeah. Even Twitter, by the way.
Even Twitter now has launched, what do they call them?
What are they?
Fleets.
I saw that the other day and I was like, ugh.
So everybody's got that thing. And so those are nice little bite-sized consumable pieces of content that you don't need to go and edit a bunch of your stuff for stories. Stories is supposed to be a little bit more raw, a little bit more like just day-to-day type stuff that's supposed to go away and like not live forever because you've dumped too much time into it. It's just like quick hitter. Exactly. It takes as long to make it as the video is.
Right, exactly.
I mean, like if it's a 15-second video, it took you 15 seconds of time to make it.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to do anything more than that.
Yeah. And now the other thing too is when these new features come out on these platforms, it's a bit of a hack to increase your engagement or your reachability, because we know that when they push these new features out, they really, really, really want people to use them. Mm-hmm. Like the reason Instagram has Reels now is because they were getting their ass handed to them by TikTok on that format of content.
Well, and everybody was looking at TikTok instead of Instagram on their phones, right?
Exactly. And so they launched this thing. So they want you to use it because the more content, more users they have, the more enticing it is for other people to do it. So the hack here is like, if you post a picture on your feed, you'll do okay depending on what the content is.
Yep.
But if you post something on Reels, Instagram has more of a vested interest in making sure more people see your Reels than they do your posts that you put on your feed.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So they'll put that like front and center.
So as frustrating as it is that these new things keep popping up all the time, and it's like, ugh, I'm going to learn that. Yeah, it sucks. But if you actually care about increasing your audience and engagement, then you've kind of got to you got to play the game
Yeah.
a little bit, right?
I mean, the whole thing's a game.
I know that, like, to give some context to what we're saying here, the reachability and whatnot of these platforms, I know that, like, our first 30 days on TikTok has garnered us more followers than 5 years on Facebook.
Right. Yes.
Twice as many.
Yes. Facebook's hard to get followers without paying for them.
It is now, yeah.
I mean, you're not paying for followers, but paying to get out in front of those people.
Exactly.
Like every time you post something on your Facebook page, you're probably only getting anywhere from 5 to 10% of your followers seeing that post.
Right. Yeah, that's the hard thing to wrap your head around sometimes. You think you're like, oh, I've got 2,000 followers and I'm posting something, so they're all going to see it. And then their friends are going to see it.
The answer is no.
It's not how that works anymore. They're very selective about who sees what. Not all 2,000 of your people are going to see it.
No.
20 of them are going to see it.
Yeah. And then if they like it, it'll waterfall down into the next.
Then maybe we'll show
layer.
it to another 20.
Yeah.
So it's tricky. Facebook is tricky. You got to pay to play on Facebook nowadays.
Yeah. And that's not necessarily a bad thing.
But it can be good for communicating to your existing base too, right? I know deck builders you generally don't do repeat work with your customers. But sometimes you do. Sometimes they move or they need another deck somewhere else or whatever. So sometimes they do. Sometimes it's good to keep them in touch. But they also can be a source of referrals. If they're following you, you can speak to your existing audience too and maybe get more value out of your existing audience still. So we're definitely not saying give up on Facebook. You still have to be there.
Yeah, don't give
it's
up
still
on
the
Facebook.
big one. Like,
I think the other thing is that all of these platforms are search engines.
Yeah.
Right? People use these things just as much as maybe not just as much, but they use them to find businesses.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Like,
so what is powerful on Facebook now is the reviews platform or the recommendations platform.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a good place to get business, like to get your customers to leave you reviews or referrals so that other people see that stuff. And it's also a good place for community building now. The groups have really started to kind of like take off, I see, in a way.
Yeah.
Like when I'm on Facebook, I'm almost spending more time in groups than I am in feeds.
right. Yeah.
And scrolling
definitely.
my feed, right? Mostly because the group has a freaking purpose. Like your groups have a theme.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a couple groups around like deck builders, and that got mentioned here by TC Decks.
Yeah.
That there's a theme. There's value in going to that group.
Right.
There's a supporting local business group I'm part of. There's value in going to that group.
Yeah.
I can learn more about local businesses, what's out there. And if I have a question about like, hey, I want to buy pizza tonight from somewhere I've never been before, where can you go? And you'll get a bunch of people referring you to places. My feed is bullshit.
I think that's how everybody feels about Facebook nowadays.
I am so tired of my feed because people have too much damn time in their hands right now. And
Way
everybody's
too
just
much.
freaking arguing and posting their stupid opinions.